Hey guys, it's Cali. Today I'm going to show you how I created these mixed media mail art cards as part of a collaboration put together by Felicia Follum from the Creative Arts Collaboration and some other amazing artists. We all chose a word to work with, and my word is peace. And then we created a series of art cards to mail out to each other and exchange, and then we'll be doing an unveiling video when we get ours in return. So if this looks like something you'd be interested in seeing how I created, please stick around and I'll show you my process. And make sure you check out all the other artists too. See you in a few. Okay, so let's just jump right in. We're supposed to make 8 postcard, actually 4x4 size pieces. So I decided to do 10 just for extra. And all I did was take a cardboard box and measured 4x4 and took my utility scissors and cut out 10 pieces of 4x4 cardboard. And this is what we got. This is what we're starting with. They're all basically the same thickness, and we're going to create some art with these. So the first thing I'd like to do is to break out my handy dandy decoupage. I always use this stuff, and lay down a first layer. So I poured some decoupage in my palette dish. I have an old brush, and I thought that I would use something that's becoming obsolete, the yellow pages. So I was going to toss this in the garbage, and I thought, oh no, this is perfect. I'll use it in my artwork. So I'm going to randomly rip out some pages from the phone book here, and we're going to just lay them down. So I'll show you this first one here, and then I will finish the rest off camera, and I'll come back when they're dry. But basically, I'm just laying down a layer of decoupage. I like to start a lot of my projects this way. Gives me time to think, and it provides a good background and reinforces the piece. So I'm sure a lot of you do the same. I'm going to put these down. And I can always trim them up later. Not worried about it. I think I'll get some other maybe tissue paper too, but we'll see. For now, we'll just lay these down. I'm going to cover the whole surface, and I'll let them dry, and if I want to come back with something else, I will. Do you guys use the yellow pages anymore? I still have a landline for my phone, but I still don't use the yellow pages. I wind up, Googling a number or, calling information. But I guess some businesses especially still use them. Okay. I think this is a good start. I'll let these dry, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what I'm going to do for the next step, which I don't even know yet, but that's half the fun of it. Alright, so I'm going to do all of them basically the same, yet different. And like I said, we'll trim them up when we're done. So that's that, and I'll see you back here when I get the rest done. Okay, so these are mostly dry now, and we're going to get them nice and sticky again. I can't get enough of gluing paper on paper, so I'll just show you an example on one. I have a paper pad. I believe this was a Tim Holtz pad. I'm just going to take some random paper out of it. And I'm not going to cover the whole surface like I did with the telephone book, but I'll just rip some paper and kind of randomly, not so randomly, put it down. And we'll gesso over this when it's dry. because we have to have a layer of paint and, you know, got to keep going. So I'm just going to do the same thing to each one. We'll keep them, you know, similar but not identical. And I will not be covering the whole surface like I did with the paper, the telephone book. I think I said that already. But who knows what I'll do? You never know. All right. So that's an example. And like I said, when I have all these done, I'll meet you back here and show you what we got. All dry now. And the next step, I'm going to lay down a light coat of gesso, because then we're going to do some either paint or ink or something. So I just took some of my gesso. I got this at Walmart, simply acrylic gesso. I put it in a palette dish and I watered it down. I used my spray and I just watered it really good because I just want to do a light coat. I want a lot of this to show through, but still give us a ground for what we're going to put on top. Okay, so let me do these, let them dry, and I'll come back and we'll start doing some color. See you in a few. So these have had a chance to dry overnight, and now I've decided I want to lay down some background color, and I always fall back on these. These are my Deco Art Media Misters. I have this one in cobalt and this one in turquoise. And I'm just going to spray down randomly wherever it lays. And then we're going to go over this once this dries with some stenciling. Love these things. They're permanent. They're easy to use. They don't clog a lot. They do clog a little. Maybe I'll throw in just a little bit of purple. Okay, you guys, let's let these dry, and I'll see you back here with the next step. So these are nice and dry. I really like how they're looking. Those shimmer misters are great. They just have such a cool sparkle to them. So, you know, of course we've covered up our paper and everything in the background, but you can still see the texture, and occasionally random numbers pop out. I always do that, but I don't care. It's part of the fun. So the next layer that I want to put down, I'm going to use one of my Delusion stencils. This is a 9x12, so I'm just going to lay it over a few of these at a time. And I am going in with a folk art paint. This one is in purple. It's a fluorescent kind of purple. It's one of my favorites. And I've just put some in my palette dish. I have a little sponge dauber. And I'm going to randomly put down some dots here on each one. I think this will look really great with the existing colors we already have. Not going to get too precise with it. So you get the idea. I'll show you what one looks like. Yeah, just adds a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to finish all of them up the same way. And while I let them dry, I'll show you what I thought of for a focal point. Big surprise, we're going to put down a peace sign. And I have this peace sign refrigerator magnet, and it's perfect for a stencil. So at first I thought I would do on paper, and I actually did just start to cut out some of these, and I thought I would, you know, do the same thing, kind of spray them up, stamp them up. And then I changed my mind, and I've decided to go in. I have some of this really cool, it's just cotton fabric, and I'm going to take our stencil and a pen and just draw around. The background is nice and light so I can see the pen easily. And then I'm going to cut them out. And I've already done one, and I'll show you. And I'm going to use the Mod Podge to adhere them. I think you can see that okay. So I just cut them out. Here's one to show you. And, you know, again, once it kind of blends in right now, but once the other colors of the background are behind it, etc., I think it'll look really cool. So I'm going to kind of do these both at the same time. I'll do the painting first, and then I'm going to get back to cutting these out. And I'll see you back here when the paint is dry and the peace signs are cut out. See you in a minute. Alrighty, these are dry now. And I'm just about done with cutting out the peace signs. I have 4 more to finish. And I thought I would just take a break for a second and come and do some stamping because there's just not enough visual texture going on here. I went through my stamps and I just pulled out a random, it's kind of a flower, reminds me of a mandala. And I'm going to go in with my black StazOn and just randomly go around. Let's see. And just add a little bit here and there. I like how that looks a lot. So I'll do a few on each one. And I think the last element that we're going to put, I say that now, might be some white speckles. But yeah, I like how that looks. So let me finish the rest of these and finish cutting out the peace signs, and then we'll be back, maybe do some white speckles before we put the peace signs on. See you in a few minutes. Alright, so I'm pretty happy with the way these turned out. They're really beautiful. And I finished cutting these out. So these are all done. And before we put them on, and I'm going to do it with Mod Podge again, I told you, again, there's not enough visual texture going on. We got to keep layering and layering. So I broke out some of my Americana acrylic paint. This one's in Snow White. And watered it down a little bit. Took an old toothbrush and in my palette dish, and we're just going to give this some splatters. I have a drop cloth underneath everything here, so just go around. It looks really cool with all the darkness going on to just flash some white. And that peace sign is going to take up an awful lot of room too, so I debated on stamping out the word peace or writing it out, and I decided that the symbol itself obviously is universal enough and that speaks in every language. So I'm just going to leave it, and I'm really happy with our splatters here. So I'm going to let them dry and come back with some Mod Podge, and we'll put the peace signs on. We're almost done. So see you in a few minutes. Okay, these are nice and dry now. I think they look super cool. Very galactic looking. And before I come in with the decoupage again, I thought it would be easier to just position the peace sign down with a little of this. I have an Elmer's glue stick, and this is not to, you know, for permanency, This is just to position it while I continue to work on it. And all I'm basically going to do is outline it. And we're also going to edge the card itself to just kind of give it a border. So this is just to keep it in place. And when I'm done outlining and edging, then we'll come in with the decoupage and make it permanent. So that, and then to edge it, give it kind of a border, coming in with my StazOn again and a little makeup sponge. Take it like this. I'm just going to go right around the edges. Okay, all the way around. And then just want to outline the peace sign itself, and I'm going to use my Faber-Castell Pitt pen. This is a brush tip. These are permanent, and you can also smudge them out with some water. So I'm just going to kind of outline all the way around. The background is so busy, this will just help kind of bring the peace sign, give it a little dimension. So I'm going to go around those places, and then I'll go in with my, I have a water brush, and we're just going to smudge out that line a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to do this all the way around. I'll do it to all of them. I'm going to do the outline around the edge too, and I'll come back and show you what that looks like, and then for final step we're just going to put the decoupage on. Alright, so I'll see you when these are outlined. I'm really liking how these are looking. What do you guys think? So we're just at the end now, and final step besides signing them and numbering them on the back, pulled out the good old Americana decoupage. I should buy this stuff by the gallon. Have it in my palette dish, and you know the drill. I'll show you one. I'll do the same for all, and I'll let these dry overnight, and then I'll show you tomorrow the finished product. This will seal that peace sign as well as everything else, obviously. And this is matte. I also have glossy, but I really do prefer matte on my projects. Most of my projects. Okay. So I'll finish these and I'll see you in the morning. Okay, good morning, you guys. These are nice and dry, and I'm really loving them. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If this has inspired you, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet, and stay tuned because when I receive my mail art in the mail, I'll be doing a video showing you each piece that I got, and I'll link all the artists below. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care, and peace and love.